Oxford Read and Discover, Level 5, Homes Around the World by Jacqueline Martin. Read by Emily Bauer. Published and copyright, Oxford University Press, 2010. Introduction. The place where we live, sleep, and eat is called our home. There are lots of different types of home. Homes around the world are made of many different materials and can be many different shapes and sizes. How many different types of home can you think of? What types of home do you have in your country? What are they made of? How old are they? What are the homes below called? Where in the world can you find these homes?
Discover!
Now read and discover more about homes around the world. Chapter 1. Homes in the Past. About 50,000 years ago, people lived in caves. Then, about 5,000 years ago, people started to build homes. People in the past didn't have homes like we have today. How were these homes different? Caves. Caves were dark and didn't have windows. They protected people from bad weather and wild animals. The doors were made from animal skins. There was no kitchen or bathroom. Cave people cooked their food on fires. In hot weather, they didn't live in homes at all. They lived and slept outside. In some places where there were no natural caves, people had to dig caves out of the hills. Straw and mud houses. The first houses were made from dry plants like straw. These houses weren't very strong. The ancient Egyptians built houses with bricks made of mud and straw. They put the mixture into molds and left them in the sun to dry. Then they built walls with the bricks and put wet mud on top. There were holes in the walls for windows and doors. Egyptian houses had flat roofs. People often slept on the roof because it was nice and cool. In the past, other people in Asia, Africa, and South and North America built mud houses too. Different colored mud made different colored bricks. Stone houses. Some people in the past built houses from stone because it was strong. Poor people lived in small houses with only one room. Important rich people built stone castles to live in. These took many years to build. The ancient Greeks built houses with mud bricks on top of stone blocks. The roofs were usually made of tiles. The Incas lived in Peru. They built houses with stone blocks. Each block was carefully cut and polished so the houses looked great when they were finished. The houses had thatched roofs made of straw.
Discover!
Inca walls were strong because there were spaces between the blocks. When there was an earthquake, the blocks moved, but the walls didn't fall down. Wooden houses. The ancient Chinese people built wooden houses. They had long roofs made of a wood called bamboo. Many Chinese houses were built on platforms to protect the wood from water. The ancient Romans built houses with wood, mud, and stone. They also used some materials that we use today, like concrete. Some Roman houses had a bathroom, plumbing, and heating. Chapter 2. Homes Today. Some people today live in homes made of natural materials like mud, stone, or wood. Many people live in homes made of man-made materials like concrete, bricks, plastic, and glass. What is your home made of? Homes in the city. In big cities, many people live in apartments. These are homes on one floor of a bigger building. Some apartments are above shops or in old houses. Others are in tall buildings called skyscrapers. Apartments are often built on top of each other in one building because there isn't enough land for a lot of houses. Some houses in towns are built together in a row. These are called row houses or terraced houses. They are narrow, so you can build many on one street. Other homes. Outside the city, there is more land for homes. People often have gardens or land to grow vegetables. Some people live in big houses detached from each other. Detached houses have space all around them. Other people live in houses called bungalows or ranch houses. These are detached houses with all the rooms on one floor. The old building below is called a cottage. It is made of bricks and has a thatched roof. People in many parts of the world build homes with thatched roofs. Homes for rich people. Rich people sometimes live in big houses called mansions. They have electricity, running water, central heating, air conditioning, nice bathrooms, expensive furniture, carpets, and sometimes even swimming pools. They often have big gardens too. The mansion below is in Thailand. It is made of a wood called teak. A natural oil in the wood protects it from the weather and insects. Teak is very good for building houses and furniture. Homes for poor people. Poor people often don't have enough money to buy or build their own home. Some families share small apartments with other families. The whole family sleeps in one room, and 2 or 3 families share one bathroom. Some very poor people can't live with other families, so they have to build homes with things that other people throw away, like bits of metal, fabric, or wood. Places where there are lots of these homes together are called shanty towns. There's no electricity or running water. Many people today are homeless and do not have a home at all. Homeless people sometimes sleep on the street in big cities. In some places there are shelters where they can stay, but sometimes the only thing they have is a cardboard box. Chapter 3. Different climates. The climate is different in different parts of the world. People build different homes depending on the climate. What type of climate do you have in your country? Temperate climates. In temperate climates, the weather is usually mild. Homes are often built with bricks. Bricks keep water out and keep the homes dry. Homes often have large windows to let the sun in, and a chimney so people can light a fire when it's cold. Where it rains a lot, people build houses with sloping roofs so that all the water runs off and doesn't get into their houses. Cold climates. In cold mountainous climates, homes are often built with stone. If forests grow there, wood is also used. The lower walls of this chalet are built with stone because it is strong. This helps the chalet to stay up if there's an avalanche. The upper walls are built with wood because wood keeps the heat in. These homes have long sloping roofs so that heavy snow falls off. Some people, like the Inuit people in the Arctic, even build their winter homes with snow. These homes are called igloos. Snow walls keep the wind out and make it quite warm inside. Some large igloos have 5 or 6 rooms, and more than 20 people live in them. Hot desert climates. In hot deserts, the temperature is very hot in the day and cold at night. People need homes that protect them from sun, heat, wind, and cold. Where there aren't many trees or rocks, people build houses with mud and grass. The houses have small windows to keep the sun out. This makes the house cool, but it is dark inside, so people spend most of the day outside or on the roof. Thick walls keep the house cool in the day and warm at night. They also protect the house from the strong desert winds.
Discover!
In some deserts, it's so hot that people make homes underground because it's cooler there. Tropical climates. In tropical climates, the weather is hot and wet. People need homes to protect them from sun, wind, and rain. Lots of forests grow here, and the people use the trees to make wooden houses. Mud bricks would break. There are often floods in tropical climates, so people build houses on stilts. The stilts keep the house cool and protect it from snakes and water. Long roofs provide shade, and wooden shutters on the windows keep the sun out. Chapter 4. Homes that move. Most homes stay in one place, but some people travel and take their home with them. Can you think of any homes that can move? Tent homes. Nomads look after animals and move their homes when their animals need fresh grass to eat. They live in tents that can be folded up and carried. Many people in Mongolia are nomads. They travel around with their animals and live in tents called gurs. In summer, some Inuit people in the Arctic live in tents made from deer skins and whale bones.
Discover!
Some Native Americans lived in tents called teepees. These tents were made from animal skins. Homes that float. Lots of people in the world live on houseboats. People sleep, cook, eat, and sometimes work on them. Some houseboats are used as floating shops, so you don't have to get to land to buy food. Some people live on canal boats. These boats are long and narrow so that they can travel along narrow rivers or canals. About 200 years ago, these boats carried materials for big industries, but today, the boats are used as homes. The Uras people in Peru make floating houses from the plants that grow in the lake. First, they make a floating island for the house to stand on, and then they make a house, all from plants. Homes with wheels. About 150 years ago in North America, some people lived in wagons. The wagons were pulled by oxen. People traveled around looking for new places to live. At night, they slept in the wagon or outside on mats. Today, some groups of people still live in wagons and travel around looking for work. Their wagons are usually pulled by horses. Modern wagons are called travel trailers or caravans, and they are usually pulled by cars. Some people drive motorhomes or RVs. These are like a big car or van that you can live in. Many people like to drive in these on vacation because they can travel to lots of different places and see the countryside. You don't need to sleep outside caravans or RVs. The seats and tables change into beds at night. Vacation homes. Many people like to go camping. They sleep in tents and cook their food outside on a fire. Some people have two homes, one home for the winter and one for the summer, and they move between them. The home doesn't move, but the people do. Chapter 5. Famous homes. There are lots of famous people in the world. Some of their homes are quite famous too. Can you think of any famous homes in your country? The Forbidden City. The Forbidden City in Beijing, in China, is a big palace. There are palace gardens and nearly 1,000 buildings. It is the largest ancient palace in the world. It took 15 years to build, and it is surrounded by a high wall and a moat. For 500 years, it was the winter home of the emperors of China. In summer, they moved to the Summer Palace, 12 kilometers away. Today, the Forbidden City is a museum.
Discover.
Some people say that the bricks in the wall around the palace were stuck together with rice and egg white. Homes for a queen. The Queen of the United Kingdom has two homes. When she is in London, she lives in Buckingham Palace. Part of the palace is now an art gallery, and you can also visit the gardens. The Queen's main home is Windsor Castle. It is one of the largest castles in the world. Many kings and queens are buried here. In November 1992, there was a big fire at the castle. It took 15 hours and a lot of water to put out the fire. The fire destroyed a big part of the castle, but most of it has been built again.
Discover.
There is a flagpole on top of each of the Queen's homes. When the Queen is at home, a flag flies. The White House. The White House is in the USA. It is the home of the American president. The first White House was built in 1800, and 43 presidents have lived here. That's all the presidents except for the first president, George Washington. About 5,000 people visit the White House every day.
Discover.
The White House today has 6 floors, 132 rooms, 412 doors, 3 elevators, 147 windows, 28 fireplaces, 35 bathrooms, 1 tennis court, 1 bowling alley, 1 movie theater, 1 jogging track, 1 swimming pool. Topkapi Palace. Topkapi Palace is in Istanbul, in Turkey. It was the home of the sultans. Up to 4,000 people lived in the palace. There were schools, shops, libraries, gardens, and other buildings, so the people who lived there never had to go out. Some parts of the palace were destroyed by fires and earthquakes, but you can visit the other parts because there is a museum.
Discover.
About 800 people worked in the palace kitchens, and they cooked about 6,000 meals every day. Chapter 6. Unusual Homes. Most homes around the world have 4 walls and a roof, and they are built with bricks, stone, mud, wood, or concrete. Some people live in more unusual places. Would you like to live in any of these homes? Rock homes. Some people still live in caves. The strong rock walls protect them from all types of weather. Cave homes can be very comfortable today, and they usually have windows and electricity. Almost half of the people who live in Guadix in Spain live underground in caves. Many of the homes have chimneys, but these aren't to let smoke out. They are to let air in. These homes have water and electricity, and many have televisions and internet connections. Unusual materials. Some people make homes out of unusual materials. The house above is in New Mexico, in the USA. Its walls are made of mud, car tires, and cans. The people who live here didn't use these materials because they had nothing else to use. They wanted their house to look different. The woman below lives in El Salvador, in Central America. She built her house from plastic bottles because she didn't have enough money for bricks. It took nearly 2 months to collect all the bottles and 3 months to build the house. Unusual shapes. Some people live in homes that are unusual shapes. Sometimes their homes look like other things. Sometimes there is a reason for the unusual shape. This house in Japan looks like a diamond, and it has a parking space for the car. The first people who came to live in Toraja, in Indonesia, came in boats. There is a story that a big storm damaged their boats, so they couldn't float. The people then used the boats as roofs for their houses. Now, they still build houses with roofs shaped like boats. Designer homes. Architects sometimes design homes to look different. Sometimes they copy things from nature. Can you think of any famous architects? What famous designer homes are there in your country? The house on the right is in Spain. It was designed by Antonio Gaudí. The house below is in the USA. It was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright and is built over a waterfall. You can hear the waterfall from every room. Chapter 7. Homes for everyone. Some people in the world live alone. Other people live with their families, other families, or with friends. Who lives with you? Family homes. In big towns, each family often has its own small home. But in many places in the world, Lots of generations of a family often live together. This can be helpful because the grandparents can look after the children while the parents work. Sometimes, lots of different families live together in the same building, but on different floors. The people who live in this house in Mexico use ladders to get between floors. On summer nights, they often sleep on the roof like the ancient Egyptians did. It's cool, and it doesn't rain very often. Community homes. This house is in China. It's called a tulu. It's a big, round house, 3 or 4 floors high, and it's made of mud. There is only one door, and all the main windows are inside, so it is well protected. Lots of families live here, sometimes up to 800 people. Each family has 2 or 3 rooms. The house is plain on the outside, but the inside is often brightly decorated. The Yanomami people live in the Amazon rainforest in South America. In each village, everybody lives together in a big round home called a llano. It's built with wooden poles and a thatched roof made from leaves. There aren't any walls. Up to 400 people live here. Each family has its own area where they have hammocks to sleep in. Other homes. In Europe, North America, and Australia, most people live in homes built for one family. Old people often live in a separate home. Sometimes they live near their families, but sometimes they are far away. Some old people live in an old people's home with lots of other people. They can talk, play games, and keep each other company when they can't see their families. Children with no parents are called orphans. If they have no other family to look after them, they can live together in a big home called an orphanage. Living without a home. Some people's homes are destroyed by hurricanes, earthquakes, floods, or wars. People then live together in refugee camps, and they all try to help each other. Sometimes, people have to live here for many years.
Discover.
About 12 million people live in refugee camps. There are refugee camps in over 100 countries in the world. Chapter 8. Future Homes. About 100 years ago, we didn't have flushing toilets, stoves, or central heating. What will we have in our homes in another 100 years? Eco-homes. People are damaging the environment by using too much coal, oil, and gas for energy. Maybe in the future, all homes will be more environmentally friendly and will use clean energy from the sun and the wind. We can save energy with homes that are insulated to stop energy escaping through roofs, doors, or windows. The house below is made of straw inside. It's warm and environmentally friendly. These houses in Iceland have roofs covered in grass because grass is a good insulator. Homes that protect us. Our climates are changing, and there are more and more hurricanes and floods. How can we protect our homes? Some new homes have walls made of steel and concrete. They won't fall down in a hurricane. Architects are also designing homes for the future that will float. Scientists are investigating new waterproof materials for homes. People living in brick houses can die in earthquakes if the houses fall on them. New homes made from cement and foam won't fall down in an earthquake because they are light. They are cheap to make and environmentally friendly. High-tech homes. In the future, what technology will homes have? Scientists say that we will be able to use one computer to watch television, look at the internet, turn the lights on and off, and tell us if there's a burglar in the house. They say that lights will turn on when we walk into a room, and refrigerators will tell us when food is bad to eat. We will be able to talk to other people through an electronic screen and see who's at the front door on our television. What next? Maybe in the future, homes will look quite different from what we see today. What materials do you think we will use to build homes? What shapes will they be? Maybe our homes will make all their own energy. Maybe they will be made of recycled materials. Maybe we will all live in outer space. What do you think? The International Space Station is like a home in space. It was built in 1998. Astronauts from 16 countries have lived there since it was built.
Discover.
Astronauts are investigating living in space. What do you think a space home will be like?